Hey everybody, Ryan FMG here, and today we're going along our way with the Tale of Amatsu card review. Last time we did red, this time we are going to do green. And kind of my disclaimer for this is just my initial impression or my second impression of most of these cards. I haven't played with them, so this is just the brainstorming session to see how good they are and just kind of get the juices flowing with what we want to be playing in the future. And yet again, I will mispronounce quite a few of these names because a lot of these names are very new to me, so my apologies in advance, but let's go on. First up, let's talk about the green legendary unit called Wood Sprite. This is a 5 MP for a 115. That is kind of some hefty life totals, as it were. This unit cannot block enemy attacks. Okay, so it'll kind of stick around the board a little bit longer than usual. Attacking, expend -2 HP to give +1/+2 to a random other friendly unit. So this is kind of a pump spell for your other units because yes, this takes 2 damage, but it's also giving +1/+2. So overall, you are basically just tacking on +1 attack to that exchange, which is pretty darn nice. Ascend, exchange this unit's HP with your hero's life. So all this is kind of a lot, right? Base stats is a 5 MP 115. We don't really see that. The whole like, oh, it hurts itself and pumps up the other units, like that is pretty good. The Ascend can be a super life gain spell. Because imagine if your hero life is at 1, you play Wood Sprite, well now it is 15. Yes, Wood Sprite now is a 1/1, but you kind of spent 5 MP for a 1/1 to gain 14 HP, and that can be really good. More times than not, you probably won't want to be doing the other flip side where your HP is higher than Wood Sprite's HP, just because, you know, Wood Sprite being a 120 and then going down to 15 doesn't feel as good, but you could do that. So I don't know. Wood Sprite has a lot of things going on for it. I think a lot of powerful things of just pumping up your board as well as just sticking on the board for a little bit longer. Yes, it's a terrible defender and actually not even that good of an attacker, but hey, if you get some pump spells, take some damage, deal some damage, and maybe gain some life around the way, that could be pretty good. Great Swordsman is the second and last green legendary unit of the set. It is 3 MP for a 1/2. So right there, 3 MP for a 1/2 is pretty weak. However, it's a legendary, it's going to get better. When played, activate effects based on the number of times friendly units have leveled up. Okay, so 3 or more, gain +2/+4. That's a lot of stats. 5 or more, gain +1/+2 and heavy pierce. More stats and keywords, great. Then 7 or more, gain +1/+2 and crush. This is so much, and I believe you get all of them. So if you've done 7 or more times, this will get heavy pierce, crush, and +4/+8. So this will be a 5/10 heavy pierce crush. That's fantastic. That's so good for a 3 MP. You would pay way more MP for that. Base level 3 MP for a 1/2, you are not playing that card. However, if you are playing growth units, you definitely want to play Swordsman because this is just such a powerful legendary. Kyushi is 3 MP for a 2/2. It says, when played Explore for Thunderbrew, your hero gains 2 life. 3 MP for a 2/2, not great stats by any means. Hero gaining 2 life is good, but still not making me too in love with this unit. However, Thunderbrew is 1 MP, give a unit take 1 damage every 5 seconds, and that unit cannot counter. That's pretty good, right? It's 1 MP, it's an explore trigger, so if you care about explore triggers, that's great. It's a 1 MP action, which is fantastic, and take 1 damage every 5 seconds is really good. That could kill especially weaker units very fast, or even help to take down a large unit. And that unit cannot counter, just makes it way weaker. So that is really good 1 MP explore trigger. So overall, I kind of am liking this card. It's doing quite a few different things. You know, you gain some life. It is very weak, but it's still a 2/2 on board, so it'll deal some damage, take some damage, and that's fine. And especially if you want explore triggers, I don't know. Thunderbrew seems pretty nice. Kaguya is 4 MP for a 2/6, and what is up with this? We saw the mole do that, and now we have 2 humans doing that too. Anyways, 4 MP for 2/6 with growth of 3, so very easy, cheap growth cost. Level 2, you gain MP boost 30. That's fantastic. This becomes a MP battery unit. And then level 3, you explore for the returning arc. The returning arc is 1 MP, return a friendly unit to your deck, and gain plus 2 MP. So another way to gain some MP and do this to a unit that's just about to die, so you save that unit, and then you gain some MP. Overall, I like this card because Green always wants some MP boost, and then you get an action that's an MP boost, as well as this Explore trigger, so if you care about this. So this is doing a lot of things, and I think it's doing it pretty effectively. Meta is 6 MP for 2/5. So those stats, pretty weak. 6 MP for 2/5. Come on, Teppen, you usually give me way more stats than that. But let's hear them out. When played, place a Warrior's Wife onto the field. Okay, what is Warrior's Wife? It is a 3 MP 2/5, but you already get it on the field. So it's basically a 2/5 body that says, while on the field, give friendly Meta plus 2 attack. So now, as long as Warrior's Wife's on the field, he becomes a 4/5 that brings along a 2/5 body, which is a lot better, right? And then it has growth 5, level 2, give all friendly units shield. Overall, that's some pretty good stuff, right? Like, units that always bring another unit to the party, and then that unit is pumping the original unit, as well as growth 5 of giving everything shields, is pretty darn good. But I don't know, overall I'm a little like lukewarm on this. I think what it's doing is good, but for 6 MP, I feel like Green has more powerful plays that you can be doing. Now this card is a very interesting card. It's 6 MP for 3/7, which we just did 6 MP for 2/5. 3/7 seems way better. Anyways, 6 MP for 3/7 human. It says attacking, activate one of the following at random. There's 5 choices, so you have 20% to hit each choice with the attacking trigger. And remember that attacking is triggered when the attack gauge reaches 100%. The effect is activated before damage is dealt, and that is important. Anyways, you can gain +1 attack, which is pretty nice because that sticks around. Gain +3 HP, which is very nice because, yet again, that sticks around, has this card stick around for longer. Or inflict halt on the enemy unit in front for 13 seconds. So basically, before Ash hits the enemy unit, it gets halted, and then Ash isn't taking any damage, which is fantastic. The last two are destroy a random enemy unit with an MP cost of 3 or less. That's a good one. Like, that could be fantastic. But if your opponent doesn't have anything that's 3 MP or less, basically just 3 MP, then it does nothing, and that feels really bad. The very last one is a whammy. It is a negative through and through. It says gain slow effective for 1 attack. So you have 20% to hit something that actually makes this card way worse. Because yes, it is just for 1 attack, but you want to be attacking more and more and more with this card to get more and more hits. So basically you have 80% chance to hit something good and 20% chance to hit something bad, even though, yes, 20% chance to destroy something that isn't there. So in my mind, you have 60% chance to always get something pretty darn good. 20% chance to get something that is either going to whiff or be fantastic, and then 20% to really get a whammy. So overall, I kind of like this card, and I think it's kind of, sometimes playing with the RNG element can be fun, and sometimes it's very tilting, so we'll kind of see how this goes. I'm not sure if I love that Teppen is adding more RNG elements, but hey, if we only have a couple of these cards, I'm kind of okay with it. Mr. Bamboo is 3 MP for 2/5 human. It says, when a friendly unit is placed on the field, your hero gains +2 life. This card's fine, but I'm kind of done with it because 3 MP for 2/5, like, those are good stats, right? We see those types of stats kind of all often, so 2/5 for 3 MP is good, but just gaining +2 life, there's other better things I want to be doing for 3 MP, so I'm off Mr. Bamboo. Janbei is 3 MP for 1/6 with growth of 3. Level 2, it gains +1/+2. Okay, so it becomes a 2/8. Level 3, counter damage +2. This is really a good, efficient 3-drop in my opinion, where if you want, especially if you care about growth triggers and a growth-centric stuff, this is a good early play that, yes, isn't going to win you the game, but it's just kind of very good for the rate that you are playing for it. Camille and Camila is 4 MP for 1/6. It says when played, if there are at least 3 different tribes among friendly units, all friendly units gain +1/+1. To note, she is just a human. She is not double tribe. But, Green was kind of seeing some tribe-centric, multiple tribe-centric all-in-one to try to get Nero really big and stuff like that. So in that type of a deck, this could play, because if you drop her, you can trigger her, and you have 2 other units. That's +3/+3, +1/+1 for 3 units, so +3/+3 overall. And that's nothing to shrug about, but I tend to find those all-in units type of decks a little bit hard sometimes, or a little bit finicky, and base level 4 MP for 1/6 is not that good with any keywords and stuff, where like some of those other base stats are a little bit better. So she's good, but we'll kind of see. Mogami is 5 MP for a 2/6 with combo. Okay, 5 MP for a 2/6, like that's a lot of HP, especially that has combo, that it's kind of like for attack. Growth of 6. Growth 6 is kind of a lot, because we've been seeing a lot of Growth 3, and Growth 3 is fantastic. Growth 6 is not anything out of the ballpark, but it's definitely a little bit more play around. Level 2, gain shield ×2. Okay, that means this will stick around longer. That's kind of nice. Level 3, gain +1/+2 and agility. All those things are pretty good, especially that this has combo, so this becomes a 3/8 with agility. But this is growth 6, so that means to get to level 3, you have to play 12 MP worth of units to really trigger the level 3. And in my feeling is that this is going to die before that. But, you do have shield ×2, so that will help it survive. But I don't know. Overall, I'm really put off by the growth 6. I think you are getting a lot of value out of a 5 MP play, but the growth 6 is going to make it very hard to actually achieve and gain that value. Itsuke is 5 MP for a 2/5 with Heavy Pierce and Crush. Ascend, it gains +2/+3. That means she turns into a 4/8 with Heavy Pierce and Crush. I think this card's very good, right? It doesn't have synergy with us, growth or explore or anything like that, but guess what? It is a ascend unit, and we've seen in the past that just a good solid ascend unit can do a lot of work. Yes, she doesn't come with shield or anything like that, but Heavy Pierce and Crush are 2 very nice keywords to have, especially on a body that is a 4/8. Green Imp is 3 MP for a 2/4 Spirit, who is way less lewd and crude than the red Imp, but let's see what he does. It says death, inflict seal on a random enemy unit. That's kind of nice. Seal is a very, very good effect, and just to have a 3 MP 2/4, which is good stats, to inflict seal is very nice. However, the seal dino is still in the format, and I think I would rather play the seal dino over the green imp, besides if you just want either more seal effects or spirits specifically. Clay Soldier is up next, is 4 MP for 2/7 spirit. When a friendly spirit unit dies, gain +1 MP. We have only seen a couple spirits, and like the red spirit that gains +2 attack, I believe, when a friendly unit dies, this wants tons of spirits and they want them to die, and I just feel like there's not enough spirits to really make Clay Soldier work. Sleepy Bear is 4 MP for a 3/4 bear that just wants to sleep. Leave him alone. It has Ascend, give +3 HP to all friendly units. So if you ascend this becomes a 4 MP 3/7 that also hopefully gave 3 MP to at least one other unit. That's some really good stats. Yes, it doesn't have tons of synergy, but it's just kind of big, beefy in itself that I could definitely see Sleepy Bear seeing some play, even if it's not super flashy. Chun holding the Lee, just Chun. This is what seems to be an owl, maybe cosplaying as Chun-Li, we'll see. It's 3 MP for a 1/3 beast. When played, give +3 HP to all friendly units with growth. So this 3 MP for a 1/3 is bad. You do not want to play that. However, giving +3 HP to all friendly units is nice, however, it's just with growth. So you definitely only play this in a deck that is primarily growth-centric, but this unit doesn't have growth in and of itself, and I think there's just probably other ways to give your growth units HP, or just trying to have them growth up a little bit faster. So overall, I'm off Chun. Utanami is 3 MP for a 2/2 human. It says when played, give +1/+3 to a random friendly beast unit. I'm kind of off this card. because this card is a human and it wants you to play beasts. And that is hard sometimes to do a tribe deck with humans and beasts. Yes, sometimes there's multiple tribe decks, but there's multiple tribe payoffs a little bit more powerful than this. Because yes, +1/+3 is nice, but you already have to make sure that you have a beast when you play this and stuff like that. And 3 MP for a 2/2 is extremely weak. So I think even if you are going multiple tribes and you care about tribes, I think there's other better ways to do it. The last green unit is 5 MP for a 3/6 with growth of 7. Growth 7 is quite hefty, right? Like, you can't play this and then play a 7-drop right away. You would need a way to net at least 2 more MP. Anyways, though, growth 7, level 2, it gains +2/+6, so this becomes a 5/12, which those stats are kind of absurd, right? A 5/12 is extremely big. So if you're playing a lot of big units and want a heavy hitter with no keywords or anything, which kind of feels a little bad, but it's a 5/12, so it makes up not having keywords with just raw stats. This could see play. It's not flashy or anything like that. It's just kind of absurd stat lines. Time to talk about the green action, starting with none other than the legendary. It is 7 Soaring Spirits. It is 2 MP. It says if your hero is green, they gain when a friendly unit is placed onto the field, randomly distribute a total of 4 points between friendly units' HP and own life for 30 seconds. 30 seconds is a pretty decent amount of time, right? That lasts long. 4 health points, HP points can go a long way, but my question is, how many times can you trigger this? Now, you could, some people were talking about how you could, wait till you have 10 MP, play this, play a couple MP ramp units, which then trigger, giving HP around, hopefully you net some of that life as well, and then you ascend over those units. However, my big downside to that is you're pumping up your MP ramp units and then just using them for ascend fodder, and where you really then want to be gaining life yourself, or your ascend units get bigger. So, I don't know. Maybe I'm underestimating this card. I think this card is good, but really I don't see you triggering it that much, and I want to trigger this a lot. However, maybe my expectations are too high where I'm like, I want to get all the value that there possibly is. Maybe it's just like, yeah, this is fine if you trigger it once or twice or 3 times, because then that's, 4, 8, 12 points. And you know what? The more I think about it, the more that is probably just fine, especially for a low cost of 2 MP. Bamboo's gift is 4 MP. Place a unit in the deck with growth that has an MP cost of 4 or less onto the field. Then, if there are 3 friendly units in play, increase the level of that unit by 1. You know what? I like this card because it costs 4 MP and you are getting something that costs 3 or 4 MP from your deck and placing it onto the field. So that MP cost is pretty neutral, right? Like, technically you could be down 1 because this costs 4, you could get a 3 MP unit, but that's not that bad because especially if you have 2 other units on the field, right? So if you have 2 other units, you play Bamboo's Gift, and then you get a 3 MP or 4 MP unit, and you trigger it and make it grow instantaneously, that is extremely good. Even if you don't, so let's say, they kill something in response, so you don't have 3 units on the battlefield, you're still getting a 3 or 4 MP unit, so I like all of what Bamboo's Gift is doing. Wood Sprite's protection is 3 MP, distribute 7 HP split across all friendly units. I'm don't really particularly like this card. 3 MP is not that expensive, and 7 HP is a lot. However, it's split across all your units. So like, what if your unit that only has 1 attack gets the vast majority of it? That kind of feels bad. But 7 HP is a lot for 3 MP. I'm just like, I don't know, give me more. Self-sufficiency is 3 MP, select 1 friendly unit. All units in your hand and EX pocket that are the same tribe as the selected unit gain +1/+1. So this is obviously you're only playing this in a tribe focus deck that is a single tribe focus, not a multiple tribe focus, which, I kind of have played around with mono green machines or green red machines, and this could kind of fit because if you have 3 or 4 machines in hand, this is giving +1/+1 to all of them just for 3 MP. That seems like a pretty good rate to me. So, I don't know. It maybe breeds some new light to some mono tribe decks, and that could be kind of fun. Gift from Matsu It's 3 MP, give all friendly units Crush. Just effective for 1 turn, but hey, that's a heavy turn. If a friendly unit on the field has reached maximum growth, give it additional +1/+1. So, if you have a unit that has growth and has actually reached its growth potential on the field, so not just in the game, on the field, you're giving Crush and +1/+1, I'm in. However, let's look at the worst case scenario. Let's say you cannot fulfill the +1/+1 requirement and it's just Crush. I don't think that that's particularly worth it. But if you could always or over 50% of the time fulfill the +1/+1 requirement, that definitely seems worth it, because that +1/+1, I believe, stays around. Crush will go away after 1 attack. +1/+1 will stick around, and that kind of seems pretty decent to me. Here, Let Me Pet You is such a weird card name for me. Maybe it's just me, but that just seems like such an odd card name. But look at the art. It's Amaterasu being petted by Chun, just being BFFs, and it's adorable. Anyways, it's 1 MP, super cheap. I love 1 MP plays because that can be some busted stuff. Let's see what it does. It says give +3 growth points to all friendly units with growth. This card, I think, is extremely good. It's 1 MP, super cheap. You play this in a growth-centric deck, maybe even a green-red, because we saw a lot of red units with literally the growth level up of being 3. Even the green units, we've seen a lot be 3. So you could play this and trigger growth. Even if your growth is 6, you play this, and then you play a 3-drop, and then you've already activated it, which is pretty darn good. So I have faith in Here, Let Me Pet You, making me BFFs with some growth decks in the future. Veil of Mist is 3 MP. It says give +3 HP to a friendly unit. That's not that great for 3 MP, but it has more attack, so let's hear Veil of Mist out. If a friendly units have leveled up 5 times or more, deal damage equivalent to own HP to a random enemy unit. At first glance, I was like, huh, that's kind of good. You get +3 HP, and then you get to deal some damage for your HP. That's kind of nice. However, you definitely have to play this in a growth deck because you need a growth 5 or more times. And then I was like, okay, that could be good for some growth decks, but then I was like, wait, there's already 1 MP and 2 MP plays that deal damage to a random enemy unit based on your attack or your HP. And this is 3 MP and that's more, so then after thinking about that way, I was like, okay, Veil of Mist, I'm done here. The last green card of the new set is Guardian Sapling, is 2 MP, give all friendly units +1 HP, your hero gains +4 life. So, best case scenario, you have 3 units, all of them get +3 or +1 HP, so that's 3 HP, and you gain 4 life. That is 7 life points in total. This kind of reminds me of Sibling Memories, right? Where Memories gives your hero +6, and as long as that's in the format, I think I would rather just play that, because if I want myself, my hero, to gain life, I would rather be gaining 6/4. If I want my units gaining life, there are better ways for my units to gain life than just +1 HP. So I think this is going in 2 separate directions, where there's better cards that go in one either or direction that are just better. So those are all the green cards. There's definitely some very, very good cards, and then some cards that I'm like, yeah, I'm probably never going to play them, or maybe I'll test it out and then just be like, I'm over it. But, you know, that's like most colors. Overall, I do think that green got a lot of new toys. Some of the toys are very, you know, tribe-centric or growth-centric. A lot of growth cards, like red, right? So the theme of growth and explore running very, very hard in this whole set so far. But there's also a lot of green cards that are just like pure stats, right? No keywords, no nonsense, just here is just tons of stats. Sometimes you do have to, you know, grow them up or ascend them up to get those stats, but sometimes those cards don't seem super flashy, but when you play them, they're like just this big honking tank on the battlefield that is hard for your opponent to deal with. But green looks good. You know, I'm getting more and more excited with each and every card that I read from the new sets. The next time we will be talking about all the purple cards, and then soon we will start to actually be playing with these cards. But thank you all for watching. I'll see you all next time.